Continuing with the New Covenant, 2 Corinthians 3. Are we beginning to commend ourselves again, or do we need as some letters of commendation to you or from you? You are our letter, written in our hearts, known and read by all men, being manifested that you are a letter of Christ, cared for by us, written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not on tablets of stone, but on the tablets of the human heart. Such confidence we have through Christ toward God, not that we are adequate in ourselves to consider anything as coming from ourselves, but our adequacy is from God, who has also made us adequate as servants of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. This is also another stepping stone, another stepping point to receiving the new covenant that eventually will come. We express ourselves, we conduct ourselves, we represent ourselves as ministers to Christ the Lord. And it is in us that we endeavor to be adequate through the Spirit to represent Christ and his work in the forgiveness of sins. But this itself, once again, is not the new covenant. The new covenant comes from God, as is described in Jeremiah 31. So with this is just us ready to receive the covenant that God has promised in Jeremiah, that'll come unto us when he returns, as he already established he would. So this is just Paul encouraging fellow believers to be adequate with our representation until that new covenant comes. But it is not the new covenant that Christ speaks of. This is us in the Spirit, humbly and dutifully representing Christ and his work. And I think there's a lot of confusion in people taking this one scripture and saying we are of grace, where Paul here did not mention grace at all, and that there is no need for obedience unto the law, which Paul also did not say is an occurrence. He spoke of obedience in the spirit of the law and not of the letter of the law, as the letter kills, but the spirit brings life. But it's still the same law. There is not a separate law Paul is speaking of. He is speaking of the law, the Mosaic law, not the letter of, but the spirit of. And we will go more into what the condemnation unto death of the letter of the law is. But for now, we will continue with the new covenant ministry in Scripture.